United States Air Force putting on a show of force amid rising tensions with North Korea. The Air Force releasing this image of fully armed aircraft at the Kadena Air Base in Japan. The move comes as the new satellite imagery suggests that the Hermit Kingdom is preparing for yet another nuclear test this weekend. Maria spoke with President Trump about our country's response to actions by North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un.
We are sending an armada, very powerful. We have submarines, very powerful, far more powerful than the aircraft carrier, that I can tell you. And we have the best military people on earth. And I will say this, he is doing the wrong thing. He is doing the wrong thing. He's making a big mistake.
Do you think he's mentally fit?
I don't know. I don't know him, but he's doing the wrong thing.
Joining us is former CIA analyst and senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy, Fred Fleitz. Fred, always great to see you.
Good to be here.
So much, Fred, has changed just in the last week with the strikes on the Syrian air base. We have just yesterday the shift toward China in terms of policy, in terms of working with China on North Korea, not labeling the country a currency manipulator. And then yesterday, dropping the mother of all bombs on the Islamic State in eastern Afghanistan. What to make of all of this, and what message does this send to North Korea?
I think the dropping of this bomb in Afghanistan sent a very powerful message to America's enemies around the world. The Trump administration is trying to undo the dangerous perception of American weakness that I think emboldened our enemies worldwide. And I think with what happened in Syria, what happened in Afghanistan, the North Koreans, the Iranians, and the Syrians, I think they've definitely taken notice.
Fred, North Korea is planning to celebrate the birth of its founder this weekend. We know that 38 North, which analyzes imagery of North Korean nuclear sites, has seen indications in the past weeks that they may be gearing up for a sixth nuclear test. What is the proper response from the U.S. if that happens, and how should we be handling North Korea?
Well, let me tell you, I've followed this for a long time, and 38 North is a good organization. But let me tell you, no one knows if North Korea is going to conduct a nuclear test. And organizations like this frequently predict tests that don't take place, and then one does occur.
What's the appropriate response if it does happen?
Well, I think that is really the question. There is a real danger of a deadly retaliation by North Korea if we were to attack. You know, Seoul is only a 30-minute drive from the border. There has to be a proportional military response if there is one. I think shooting down North Korean missiles may be an appropriate response, but we have to be very leery about kicking off a military confrontation that could have a very dangerous escalation for South Korea.
Fred, we have the USS Carl Vinson and the battle group there near the Korean Peninsula. Japan said to be joining in. But then also some very significant action from China, sending coal shipments that were headed to China from North Korea back to North Korea, turning around and then ordering coal from the United States. Is this just for show, you think, or is China really in the fight with us now against North Korea?
I think we're seeing some indications that there really have been some game changers. In addition, China said in the Global Times, a Communist Party-controlled newspaper, they warned North Korea not to set off more missiles and nuclear tests because they would risk a military confrontation with President Trump. This is just extraordinary. The Chinese do not want the situation to spin out of control. I think they see Trump as a man who backs up his words with action, and they are warning the North Koreans to stop their provocations.
You know, I'm hearing there's two reactions to everything that's going on right now. On the one hand, people are loving the strength and that we're finally taking control. And then on the other side, people are saying, I'm scared, I'm uncomfortable, I don't know what's going to happen. There's got to be a better way to deal with this. How would you reassure those people who are so scared right now? Or what would you say to them?
I don't think a military confrontation is likely. I think the U.S. military is ramping up in the region to show our support of our allies and to stand up to the North Koreans. If they test some missiles that just fall into the Sea of Japan, I think we'll simply ignore it. But I think the day is coming where they're going to test a long-range missile that we have to worry could fall on the territory of a friendly state, could hit a U.S. military base, and could actually be an attack.
Fred, just one last thing. I'll quote from the Wall Street Journal's editorial today, or one of them. Far be it from us to suggest that the U.S. drop one on a North Korean nuclear factory. But in the space of a week, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, Bashar al-Assad, Xi Jinping, and ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, wherever he is hiding, have learned that the U.S. considers it to be in its interest to push back hard against its adversaries' aggression. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think that's right. North Korea's missile and nuclear programs, the purpose of them is extortion. They think by testing and developing and threatening to use these weapons, they can be paid off by the United States, Japan, and South Korea. I think Trump is going to force them to recalculate this approach, especially with pressure from China.
Fred, great to see you as always. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Fred
Happy
Fleitz,
Easter.
You as well.